Hey everybody, it's Quist here. I'm currently on tour with Brian Ferry. As some of you probably know, we're in Stockholm, Sweden tonight, where I actually played a couple of years ago. It's a beautiful place, beautiful venue. But you guys have sent in more questions, and so I thought we should do another question time. Let's do the first question. The first question is from Republic Commando 1138. And he or she says, nice idea, I got two questions for question time. One, do you have what is known as perfect pitch? And if so, how has that helped you? Okay, so basically I have what is referred to as relative pitch, which means that once a tonal center is established, I can hear any note in relation to that. So if you say that that's an E, I'll be able to say that that's a B flat. Yeah? See what I'm saying? So basically once a tonal center is established, I can hear any other note in relation to that and decipher what that is. So basically this is something that you can train, and something that is super helpful as a musician, because obviously the more you can hear what's going on, the more you're able to actually relate to the music and fit in great musical ways. So you know, there are many ways you can work on this. Just transcribing is one great way of really sharpening your ear, you know. I would highly recommend just basically transcribing and learning lots of solos and lots of songs by lots of different artists. That kind of thing just sharpens your ears straight away. But obviously there are like programs as well, or even apps, you know, where you can really zoom in on getting your relative pitch and ability to recognize intervals really sharpened, you know. So check some of those out, and I would really say that that's something that really anybody can achieve if they give it a good amount of work. Having said that, I guess I probably have what equates to perfect pitch on the guitar, because having played the guitar since I was 6, I can usually hear what any note is on the guitar when it's played. So I kind of have what you would probably call perfect pitch on the guitar. But if somebody truly has perfect pitch, that should relate to any instrument, you know, any pitch, any instrument. So if you play any note on a trumpet or a clavinet or whatever, you should be able to hear exactly what that note is if you have actual perfect pitch. And I get that sometimes. I get that especially with piano, where I can hear things, but I also get some instruments where it doesn't come straight, where I can't see the color of the note straight away. So in other words, no, I don't feel like I have what most people would say is perfect pitch. But as far as the guitar goes, and as far as being able to hear what's going on in the music, I guess I do in some kind of way. I hope that helped. Right, number 2. What is your favorite type of guitar to play? So it was always the Fender Strat, to be honest with you. That was my first electric guitar that I bought when I was really quite young. But in the last 5 years or so, I have become a little bit of a Gibson convert. I got my first 335, the one from 1968. And I mean, that just transformed my playing. And now I've got 2 Les Paul types as well. They're just really, really lovely to play. Like the 335, the Gibson just make guitars that are such a joy to play. I think what I'm trying to say is, I think that I will have to make my perfect guitar in the next year or 2, because although I love the neck of this and the sound and the feel, you know, there are certain things about a Strat that I really enjoy. For example, the location of the tone knobs. I like the vibrato, you know, the whammy bar as well. And there are certain tonal qualities in a Strat that I just absolutely love. So basically these are, you know, they're kind of almost cliche, basic kind of guitars that I really love, but I haven't found one that has everything for me. So I think that I'm gonna have to make one. So watch this space. Next up, we have a question from Facebook, and Gustavo says, "Hello, Quist. Use creativity in music is a big challenge for all." I'm guessing he means using creativity in music is a big challenge for all. It is obvious that when we improvise, we know, no matter how, what we have to do, our hands go to the right place. My question is, what do you think when you play? That's a really great question. And yeah, it is a very intuitive thing to play, isn't it? Especially when you're improvising and jamming. And it's really when you can switch that on, you know, that thing of being completely intuitive and just inside the music and just acting to whatever is going on, or reacting to whatever is going on. That's really when it's super exciting. And that's also where you don't really think, if that makes sense. You know, it's just when you're just in the music and reacting to what that person's doing and just coming up with something that just flows freely. That to me is that special space that I love being in, and that I seek out. And that's also, I think, this space that makes music a type of healing for me, and probably, I guess, for a lot of people, because it's when you're in the kind of space where you don't really think, but you're just in a zen kind of moment. I think that is just so good for your head and your being. So yeah, I love being in that space, and I always try and be in that space when I go on stage. So basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is I try to make it so that I don't think very much while I'm playing, so that it's just all very natural. But yeah, it obviously depends what you're playing. But what I will say is, you know, if I'm thinking about, I wonder, you know, how this thing will go tomorrow, or oh, I should have had like something else for dinner, or whatever, you know. If I'm thinking that, then it's really not a good situation. So I always really try and get out of any kind of headspace that will have me thinking anything like that while I'm playing music, because I think that it's just super important to be in the moment when you're playing music, and thus really not be thinking very much. Even if you're thinking about, oh, using that scale for that, and you know, trying to build a shape to your solo on some kind of subconscious level while you're playing, well, in a way it's like you're not thinking, because it's just happening as a kind of free-flowing thing. I hope that makes sense. Basically what I'm trying to say is I try to think as little as possible and just feel and be as much as I can. Okay, last question comes from the Red Sphinx, and they say, "Hey Quist, how do you meet other guitarists and musicians out there? I play by myself often and want some people to jam with sometimes." Cool. Well, I think you should definitely try and seek out, you know, some situations where you can jam with people. You know, there are places where you can go and jam with people, you know, whether it's like pubs or, you know, bars. Those kind of places very often have jams, depending on where you live in this world. For me, I guess, I mean, it all started at school, when I started to hang out with, you know, my friends who also liked music, and we all, you know, were playing instruments and just started jamming together and getting together. And that sort of also happened when I then went to music school, and then went to, you know, the Royal Academy of Music in London, where, you know, everybody is a musician. And then that became a network, which has then laid the foundation for some of my career as well, I guess. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know, whether it's a career thing or not, going to like some kind of institution where you meet a high concentration of like-minded people, that might be the thing. You know, for example, you could see if there was a seminar where you could go and do like a band thing for a weekend, for example. That might be a really fun thing to do. I remember going to like a seminar when I was quite young, and basically I think I spent like 3 days there, and we got put in bands, and then at the end of it we basically like had a big concert and everybody played for everybody. Obviously during those days, you know, it was all about rehearsing and trying out songs and getting like a set together for this final performance. And I mean that was kind of early days for me, and you could be on any level really doing something like that. So it's just about trying to seek those people out. So like as I say, you know, maybe a seminar or a course that you might be able to find in your area, or maybe even travel to do so. But obviously it's like awesome if you can find people in your area. I mean, another thing is, you know, go to the local music store, talk to people, or put up a notice to say, you know, hey, I want some people to jam with. You're likely to find other people that, as I say, are in the same frame of mind as you, and probably want the same out of playing music as you as well. So it's just having a look around really, and making yourself available to other people. Of course, you can go online as well, post on some forums, or post on some local kind of website, like a community forum of some kind. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but if you put it out there that you would like to play with some people and tell your friends, and maybe, you know, put up a notice, as I say, in the local music store or in the supermarket, or, you know, wherever there's a like a bulletin board that you could do that, well then you should have a great chance of meeting some like-minded people that you could have fun with. I really hope that these answers will be of value to you guys.